There is a quiet little secret many women over 60 are discovering. A tiny change at the hairline can make the whole face look softer, brighter, and more alive. It is not about pretending to be younger, but about letting your real features finally step back into the light. As hair thins, recedes slightly, or loses color, the hairline can start to disappear, making the forehead look larger and the face more tired than it really is. The invisible hairline trick is all about rebuilding a soft frame around the face using shape, light, and texture so people notice your eyes and smile first, not your hair loss or harsh lines. Subtle layers, gentle lift, and well-placed color around the hairline can visually raise the cheekbones, soften wrinkles, and give the illusion of thicker hair without heavy styling. In this video for Timeless Wisdom Path, the journey goes from understanding why the hairline matters so much, to the practical step-by-step changes you can ask for at the salon and recreate at home. Each part is designed to feel like a conversation with a trusted friend, guiding you back to feeling visible, expressive, and beautifully yourself again. The secret power of your hairline. Let's begin with something many women feel but rarely say out loud. One day you look in the mirror and feel like your face is the same, your spirit is the same, but somehow your presence has faded. It is not just about wrinkles or sagging. Often it is the way the hairline slowly retreats, goes flat, or turns into a stiff frame that no longer matches the softness of who you are now. The hairline is the border between your hair and your expression, and when that border is harsh, heavy, or empty, it quietly changes how people read your emotions. Over time, hair around the temples and part line tends to thin first, which can make the forehead look higher and the upper face more exposed. This can create a slightly stark effect, especially if the rest of the hair is all one length, very dark, or cut in a rigid shape. At the same time, gravity gently pulls our features downward, so when the hairline does nothing to counterbalance that, the eye naturally follows the downward lines of the face. That is why a flat, heavy fringe or straight, lank hair around the face can make you feel older than you are, even when your skin is glowing. The invisible hairline trick works in the opposite direction. Instead of a hard border or an empty one, you create a soft, almost invisible veil of movement around the face. Delicate layers that start near the cheekbones, a light lift at the roots near the front, and often a hint of brightness in the strands that frame the face. These touches do not scream haircut, they whisper fresh and awake. When the hairline follows gentle curves instead of straight edges, it subtly echoes the natural roundness of the cheeks and eyes, which is what gives that youthful, approachable feeling. Think of it like changing the frame around a painting you love. The picture has not changed, but the right frame makes every color and detail feel more vivid. By reshaping and softening the hairline, the eye is guided back to your features instead of being distracted by flat, heavy hair or bare temples. This is why so many women over 60 notice that with the right front layers and subtle lift, they suddenly feel seen again when they walk into a room. The invisible hairline trick explained. Now let's gently unpack what this invisible hairline trick actually looks like in real life, because it is not one rigid haircut. It is a set of small, smart tweaks that work together. A modern way of cutting, placing, and styling the hair around your face so the hairline becomes a soft halo instead of a hard line. For many women, this starts with shifting away from haircuts that fall straight down like curtains or helmets and moving toward shapes that curve in toward the face, especially around the cheekbones and jaw. A popular way to do this is with face framing layers that begin somewhere between the lips and the collarbone, depending on your length. These layers are cut so they gently slope and curve, almost like a letter C, hugging the face instead of hiding it. When you look at them, you do not see layers as much as you feel a subtle lift, a soft rounding that nudges the eye upward. This curved layering can visually shorten a long face, soften a strong jaw, and create the illusion of higher cheekbones, which naturally reads as more youthful and more relaxed. The second part of the trick happens right at the roots around the hairline. Many women over 60 are used to flattening the top of their hair with heavy products, or brushing everything straight back, which can expose thinning areas and make the crown look collapsed. Instead, a tiny root lift at the front, created with light products, a round brush, or even just the way the hair is parted, can open the face. It is not about big volume. It is about a small arc at the front that catches the light and gives the impression of thicker hair where it matters most. And then there is color, use like watercolor rather than paint. Soft, warm highlights or lowlights placed around the hairline, and part can mimic the way sunlight naturally hits the hair. On silver, gray, or salt and pepper hair, a few slightly lighter or warmer pieces near the front can prevent the hairline from blending into the skin tone, which often happens when everything is one flat shade. This gentle contrast makes the hairline look fuller without drawing harsh lines, and it brightens the entire face the way a good reflector does in photography. What makes this trick invisible is that no one can point to one dramatic change. There is no obvious fringe, no drastic chop, no bold streak of color. Instead, the hairline looks naturally fuller, the face seems more lifted, and people might say, "You look so rested," without quite knowing why. That is the magic. Small, well-placed changes that bring your features back into focus while still feeling like you. How to talk to your stylist so they get it. The next step is turning this quiet idea into a real haircut, and that starts with a conversation in the salon that feels empowering instead of intimidating. Many women over 60 have had the experience of asking for something fresh and walking out with the same old, age-appropriate cut they have worn for years, or worse, a style that feels like a helmet. The key is to talk less about chasing youth and more about how you want to feel, and what you want your face to say when you walk into a room. When you sit down in the chair, you might start by describing the problem rather than the solution. You could say that your hair around the face feels flat, that you notice your forehead or temples more than your eyes, or that your current cut makes you feel hidden or severe. Then you can share the feeling you are going for. Softer, more open, lighter around the face, with movement that lifts rather than drags everything down. This helps the stylist think in terms of shape and flow rather than a rigid short or long label. From there, you can get more specific with a few simple requests. You can ask for face framing layers that curve in toward your cheeks and jaw, avoiding any blunt lines that hang straight down beside your face. If your hair is shorter, you might ask for a bob or lob that hugs your face slightly with gentle layering near the front instead of a boxy shape. If your hair is longer, you can request long, soft layers starting below the chin so the hair moves around your face instead of forming a solid wall. In all cases, the idea is a gentle curve, not choppy pieces. If thinning or a receding hairline is part of your story, mention it clearly and ask the stylist to help camouflage those areas using both cut and color. They can keep the front sections slightly longer and lighter, so they sweep over any sparse spots without looking like a comb-over, and they can add subtle highlights or lowlights near the hairline for dimension. For women with gray or silver hair, ask about warm, soft tones that blend with your natural color instead of fighting it, because too dark or too ashy around the face can exaggerate lines and shadows. Finally, ask for a style that fits your real life. If you do not enjoy blow-drying for 20 minutes, say so. The invisible hairline trick works best when the cut itself does most of the work, needing only a few minutes of styling at the front to wake up the roots and coax the layers into place. When your stylist understands your daily rhythm, they can design a cut that gives you that fresh, lifted frame without demanding a whole new routine. That is when the salon visit stops being a gamble and becomes a collaboration. Simple at-home styling for an invisible lift. Once the haircut is in place, the daily magic happens at home in just a few soft, thoughtful moves. This is where many women discover that looking fresher after 60 is less about doing more and more about doing the right little things in the right place. The focus is always on the front and the hairline, because that is what the world sees first and where small changes make the biggest difference. Start with how you dry or air dry your hair. Instead of letting it fall flat straight down, try flipping your part to the opposite side while it dries, then gently moving it back once it is almost done. This simple shift creates a natural root lift at the hairline without teasing or heavy products. If you like using a blow dryer, you can use a small round brush just at the front, lifting the hair away from the scalp and directing it slightly back and then down, so it falls in that soft curve around your face rather than sticking straight up or clinging to your cheeks. Product choice matters too, especially with finer or thinning hair. Heavy mousses, thick gels, or very strong hairsprays can weigh the front down or create a stiff, dated look that fights the whole idea of softness and movement. A light root lifting spray or a gentle volumizing foam used only at the roots near the hairline can give just enough support without creating crunch. Then, instead of brushing the hair smooth, you can use your fingers to coax the front pieces into place, encouraging that subtle bend toward your cheekbones or jaw. If your hair is wavy or curly, the invisible hairline trick can be even more powerful. With the right layered cut, you can apply a light curl cream or leave-in conditioner, scrunch lightly at the front, and let those face-framing pieces dry in their natural curve. This creates a romantic, soft halo around the face that feels effortlessly youthful. For straighter hair, a few passes with a large curling iron or a heated brush only on the sections that frame your face can recreate that same soft C shape in minutes, without styling the entire head. The last touch is how you finish. Instead of spraying the whole head, try misting the air and walking your hair through it, focusing just a little extra at the front so the shape holds. You should still be able to run your fingers through it, tuck it behind one ear, or push it back and let it fall forward again. The goal is movement that returns to that flattering frame, almost like your hair remembers where it wants to sit. Over time, these small, kind rituals become less about fighting age, and more about greeting yourself with a bit of care every morning. Color, texture, and embracing your changing hair. One of the most emotional parts of aging hair is watching the color and texture change, sometimes faster than the heart is ready for. The invisible hairline trick does not ask you to hide that story. It invites you to shape it in a way that supports your features and your confidence. Gray, silver, salt and pepper, and softened natural tones all have their own beauty, and with the right touches at the hairline, they can look intentional, luminous, and modern. Color around the hairline should act like soft light, not a hard outline. Very dark, flat color at the front can cast shadows over fine lines and hollows, making the face look more severe and tired. On the other hand, too pale or overly ashy tones can blend into lighter skin and erase the hairline altogether, which can make the forehead appear larger and the hair seem thinner. Warm, multidimensional shades, like gentle chestnut, honey, or golden highlights, placed strategically around the face can brighten your complexion and make the hairline appear fuller without looking artificial. For women who have fully embraced gray or white hair, dimension is still your friend. A colorist can subtly shift the tone of your gray, adding a touch of warmth or neutralizing unwanted yellow, so that it flatters your skin rather than fights it. Tiny adjustments in tone right at the front can make your eye color pop and soften the look of texture in the skin. When the gray is glossy and the hairline is softly layered and lifted, the overall effect is not trying to be young, but radiating clarity and self-assurance. Texture changes too. Hair often becomes finer, drier, or more fragile after 60. Instead of trying to force it into the same styles you wore decades ago, working with its new personality can actually make you look younger. Lighter, airier cuts that remove bulk while adding movement are kinder to delicate hair and sit more naturally around the face. Hydrating, lightweight products keep the strands flexible, so they can form that invisible frame without frizz or stiffness. When color, cut, and texture align this way, your hairline stops feeling like a problem to hide and starts feeling like a soft crown that belongs to the woman you are now. Most of all, embracing the invisible hairline trick is about giving yourself permission to evolve. Your hair is allowed to change. Your style is allowed to change with it. Every subtle curve of a layer, every gentle lift at the root, every whisper of light around your face is a way of saying, I am still here. I still deserve to be seen. And that feeling, more than any product or technique, is what truly makes a woman look timelessly young. Final thoughts. When you weave all these small choices together, the curve of a layer, the softness of a highlight, the light lift at your hairline, you are not chasing youth. You are reclaiming your presence. You are reminding the world, and yourself, that your face still has stories to tell and your hair can frame them with grace instead of hiding them. If this invisible hairline trick speaks to you, let it be an invitation, not an obligation. Try one change, see how you feel, and let your reflection guide your next step. You deserve to feel visible, beautiful, and completely yourself at every age. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path.